Okay, well, it's Monday morning, and checking my stuff. This is one that I felt I needed to share because I've been ragging on these guys pretty hard, and I come across, looking at shapers, a complete shaper being sold. Now, the only reason this stands out to me is this is sold by a seller that's noted for parting out machines. So, you know, if I'm going to rag on these guys, I feel like I need to give them kudos if they're doing what I consider to be the right thing. Now, I'm not going to comment on price at all. I just think it's worth noting that this is a completed machine. Now, let's just look at the pictures very quickly here on this. This thing's a rust bucket. You know, this has got quite a bit of corrosion over it. It's been cleaned up. It looks to be pretty much original. I don't really see anything wrong with the machine at all. You know, there's normal wear and tear, and there is a lot of corrosion on it. But this machine will clean up and make a really nice machine for somebody if the price is right, if you can come to an agreement. So I just wanted to give kudos to the seller of this. He's doing the right thing by selling it out as a complete machine. Hopefully he can sell it as a complete machine and doesn't feel the need to part it out. So first picture shows a side view. Like I say, it looks complete, got all the guards, it's got a vise on it. Now the vise is not bolted down. I would imagine it's been unbolted to clean it up a little bit. It's not, you know, exceptionally clean, but it does need some rework on it. But all in all, like I say, it looks to be a good complete machine. Second picture shows the other side. Got the door on it, got both guards. It's got a wrench with it. So, you know, I don't have anything bad to say about the machine from the respect of it's a complete machine being sold by a seller that normally parts out machines. So this could be a very good addition to somebody's shop. Like I say, price I'm not going to comment on, but you can make your own decisions. So I shot a little video yesterday that I did not get put out. I'm going to try and get all added onto the end of this one. Hopefully we can get both of these put out, and hopefully you can find that a little bit useful. So you guys have a good day. Enjoy your week. Comment suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch. All right, well, one of these a week is what I was going to settle on, but we're going to showcase one item today very quickly. As I get up, I see this Atlas Craftsman lathe 10-12-inch original Atlas post grinder, part number 10-450. Now, you don't see these very often. They do occasionally pop up, and I just wanted to throw this out there real quick so we don't get in a feeding frenzy on this right off the bat. So this is a seller that's been around, knows what he's doing, knows what he's selling. The description is very simple. Atlas Craftsman lathe, 10-12-inch original Atlas post grinder, part number 10-450. What they started doing since we started picking on them and calling out their misleading ads is some of these sellers have stopped offering condition or anything like that, but they're still trying to kind of hide what they're doing. Now, when you look at the pictures of these, the very first picture looks like a pretty nice tool post grinder. Looks like it's got pretty good paint on it. Everything looks fairly nice on it. You know, this is from all appearances, a decent looking tool post grinder. So when we zoom in on this first picture, if we start at the bottom here, there again, looks pretty good. If you look at the very bottom foot, why the paint doesn't seem to run all the way to the bottom. On the left-hand corner of that foot, looks like it's a little bit light on that dark blue. So, and my initial thought, and I'm certain I'm right, this has been repainted to make it look better than what it actually is. Now, when you traverse on across, the hold down bolt is there, and the bottom clamp that clamps on the bottom of the bed. I'm not sure, or into the compound, so you go on over, you see a little bit of corrosion, it looks like, on the locking nut on the spindle. And if you look at the paint right there where the flange bolts up to the spindle, why the tape that taped that end off didn't make it, or made it a little bit farther up onto the casting. So this has definitely been repainted. You can see the original patina, not really patina, but you can see the original colors on that arbor. You can see the bottom of the belt. Looks like it's a leather belt. Looks pretty well cracked out and probably in runnable condition, but you know, just not perfect. And it doesn't look like the paint made it all the way to the bottom of that guard. If we go on up, things don't look bad. The stud sticking out that holds the guard on looks like it had a little paint dusted on it and got a little patina other places that it doesn't show, and you can see a little shiny. The adjustment knobs, you can look at the bottom head, well, both of them, there's some patina showing through where those have been polished up. The bolts that hold the motor to the actual arbor, look, they've got a little bit of patina on them. So this has definitely been redone. And the label on the guard has been wiped down pretty well. The paint's starting to been rubbed off there, which is common for stuff this age. And when you try and clean them up, a lot of times that paint won't hold up. So this is, you know, to me, we're looking at a forgery again, basically. This is nothing spectacular. Second picture, if we look at the second picture full size, kind of the same thing. You can see that there's a little bit of yucky stuff underneath the paint in the center section. On the motor label is in the same condition as the label on the guard. You know, it's been rubbed down a little bit, so the paint's missing off of it. I suppose we could look at this one a little bit closer, see if we see anything that really jumps out. Looks like, well, you can definitely tell the label's probably, I won't say definitely, looks like the label's probably been taped off and a little bit of paint dusted. You can see a little bit down below that label that didn't, part of it's corroded on down there, got chowder marks on it one way or the other, and all the crap didn't get cleaned off of there before it got painted right below the label itself. You can see a couple of light spots on there. So yeah, this is one that has, you know, been reworked a little bit, probably to make it look a little bit better than it actually is. Third picture, what do we got here? And nothing that really jumps out right on the third picture full size. What do we got? Few little places the paint didn't really cover when it was repainted, and this was not fully repainted. This was painted in places that were really ugly, and then on the edges and stuff it was just kind of dusted to make it kind of blend. So, you know, this is another one from a seller that's been around, knows exactly what he's selling. Don't get into a feeding frenzy on these. This is not worth 500 bucks. You know, this is a $200, maybe $250 thing. The switch on the next picture here, if we look at the on-off switch, that's been painted over. You know, it's got a on-off label on the switch, which Atlas would not have used, and the switch itself has been painted. It was sprayed at the same time. You can look at the base of the ball that rotates on that switch, and you can see shiny marks where it was painted in the on position. You can see it looks like on the bottom part of the label there, you can see where it got dusted a little bit and cleaned off, it looks like. Label's got a bunch of corrosion on it, which they were trying to clean off. So yeah, this is no cherry here. This is a tool post that is actually in the condition that I would expect to see them in for its age. You know, it in and of itself, it's probably not a bad tool post grinder, although who knows what condition the bearing's in after all the bearings are in after all these years. And you know, my main problem with this is the sellers try and hide this stuff. This is the same thing as filling your car transmission with sawdust so that when you sell it, they can't hear the gear noise. This is the exact same thing. The cord's all chowdered up. You know, we look at this next picture full size. There again shows it from the end. Look like the bearing, and we can look at an SKF bearing down here. Looks like it's got a little overspray on part of it, or else it had some corrosion on it, and they tried to clean it off and didn't get it all cleaned off. Yeah, you know, part of it's been repainted, the rest of it's been dusted just to make it look like it's not like it's in pristine condition. There again is our SKF bearing, looks like, and I don't know, like I say, if there's a little bit of overspray on that bearing cap, or if it's just a little just some corrosion that wouldn't clean off of there. You go on across, there's no wheel guard cover. And I believe nothing else really shows up in that picture that we haven't already talked about. Go to the next picture. Now this is kind of telling. There again, there's no guard here. Okay, that's number one. Number one, right off the bat, no guard. If you look at the spindle where it comes out, that's actually pitted down in there. There's quite a bit of corrosion been on there. Gunk up in the spindle itself. So that's an ugly condition, and chances are those bearings are pretty well used and abused. Now, when we look at this, look inside this guard, lower left-hand corner, you look at that, you look at how clean it is to start with. Now, to me, that tells me it's been painted, because if that's been run and had a grinding wheel on there, why you expect it to wear that paint off and have a buildup in there? Well, I think what's happened from looking at that is we have a grinding dust buildup, or grinding swarf buildup on the inside where you see that big radial ring, and I think it's been painted over the top of. I think they got out what they could, and the rest of it's just literally been painted over the top of. So this is in my opinion, kind of a forgery. Now, if we look at the seller's label, Atlas Craftsman lathe, 10-12-inch original post grinder, part number 104150. Very good working condition as it is. Could use new belt and power cord. Well, that's telling too, because if you look at this picture here, when you look at that power cord, this is an old 2-wire cord, I'm sure, a cloth covering on it and everything. So this is probably the original power cord that's on there, with the rest of the tool post grinder in this good appearing condition. That power cord would be in a whole lot better shape than what it is. So yeah, that's an ugly thing. This is a used and abused tool post grinder in original condition that's been dressed up. There's nothing else. We don't even need to go to the smaller picture on this to look at it. We've covered the rest of it. Same thing, this picture, nothing to see. You can see up here that the little bit of overspray that got in there. Poor taping job. Original patina for the most part on these bolts that hold the motor to the rest of the grinder, and yet you look at like this hold down, that's been polished up. The knobs up here have been polished or cleaned up, and the handle's been cleaned up somewhat. So nothing spectacular there. Let's go ahead and look at this one I wanted to look at. Got the original badge on the bottom side, or what would be looking out at you. Same thing, it's been worn quite a bit, which is pretty common. And you look at this, has got an old metal laced belt. You look at the belt right above the pulley there. That's pretty ugly there. That's gonna talk to you pretty good when it's trying to walk around there. The belt's going to have to be replaced, that's not a big thing if you're putting one on here, but very definitely overpriced for what it is. So let's see, let's go back to full size, see if we've got any more pictures to look at. Same thing, overspray on this SKF bearing cap. This whole side's been painted up. Now, I don't remember if these were originally painted or not, but the switch cover definitely, or the switch has definitely been replaced. So, and that's all the pictures we got. So just a quickie. Hadn't planned on doing this, but this is one, like I say, you don't see these very often. Probably worth taking a look at it. So if you find this useful when you're searching for parts and you haven't already done so, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe button. If you hit the bell notification, you'll know when I put out a new video. And comments or suggestions, leave them in the comment section for me below. And as always, thanks for taking the time to watch.